These two children may look innocent to you just like any others, but what if I told you they're cold-blooded killers?
Was he able to talk?
Yeah.
James?
Yeah.
What did he say to you?
You want me?
Two 10-year-old boys, Robert Thompson and John Venables, abducted 2-year-old James Bulger from a shopping mall in broad daylight. They didn't just take him, but for 3 horrifying hours, they tortured this defenseless toddler before brutally ending his life on a railway track. But what darkness drove children to murder? How did 2 10-year-olds plan such evil? How did they evade dozens of witnesses who could have saved James's life? And most disturbing of all, why even 32 years later does one of them continue committing crimes even today? Watch the video till the very end because you are not ready for what's coming next. On February 12, 1993, at exactly 3:42 p.m, CCTV cameras captured something that would haunt Britain forever. A grainy black and white image shows a 2-year-old boy being led away by 2 older children. His name was James Patrick Bulger. He would never see his mother again. What you're about to hear will challenge everything you think you know about childhood innocence, justice, and the capacity for evil. This is the case that divided a nation and continues to spark debate 32 years later. James Patrick Bulger was born on March 16, 1990 in Kirkby, Merseyside. A bright, curious toddler with blonde hair and an infectious smile, James was the light of his family's world. His mother, Denise, worked part-time while caring for her young son. His father, Ralph, was a devoted parent who doted on his boy. February 12, 1993 started like any other day. Denise planned a quick shopping trip to the New Strand shopping centre in Bootle with James and a friend. It was a routine visit to familiar shops. James wore his favourite blue anorak and held his mother's hand as they walked through the mall. But James had no idea that 2 other children were watching him. 2 10-year-old boys who had been truanting from school that day. 2 boys who had already been shoplifting, already causing trouble. 2 boys whose names would become synonymous with one of the most shocking crimes in British history: Robert Thompson and John Venables. At 3:40 p.m, Denise entered A.R. Butcher's shop on the lower level of the mall. James, tired and restless, tugged at her hand. For just a moment, a single, devastating moment, she let go to pay for her purchases. James wandered toward the shop entrance, and that's when they struck. The CCTV footage tells a chilling story. At 3:42 p.m, cameras captured Robert Thompson and John Venables approaching James near the butcher's shop. One boy takes his left hand, the other his right. To casual observers, it might have looked like older brothers helping a younger sibling, but this was an abduction. The grainy footage shows James being led out of the shopping centre past dozens of shoppers, past security guards, past every adult who might have saved him. The image of that tiny figure between 2 taller boys would become one of the most haunting photographs in criminal history. Denise realized James was missing within minutes. Security was alerted. The mall was searched, but James was already outside, already walking toward what would become a 2.5-mile journey of terror.
We do have a number of video photographs from the precinct itself showing the boy quite clearly, apparently following 2 youths that we're very anxious to trace. It may well be that the child did follow them, so it is very important that we do trace these 2 boys.
What happened next would expose the darkest corners of human nature and the tragic failure of a dozen well-meaning adults who could have saved a child's life. For the next 3 hours, James Bulger walked through the streets of North Liverpool in broad daylight. Multiple witnesses saw the 3 boys. Multiple adults had chances to intervene, but no one did. Kathleen Richardson, a bus passenger, saw 2 boys roughly handling a toddler from her window. She watched one boy swing the child up violently, prompting her to shout in anger, but the bus moved on. Mark Pemble, a delivery driver, observed two boys dragging a younger child who was trying to dig his heels in. In his mirror, he saw one boy give what he described as a persuading kick under the child's arm. He drove away. At the Leeds and Liverpool Canal, Malcolm Walton noticed a small child crying his eyes out while being led by two older boys. The crying was so distressing that Walton remembered it vividly when questioned later. But the most haunting near miss came when 63-year-old Irene Hitman encountered the trio near Breeze Hill Reservoir. Walking her dog, she was drawn by crying and found two 10-year-olds with what she assumed was their baby brother. James had visible injuries, a lump on his forehead and another on the top of his head. Irene Hitman told the boys, "Hurry up and get him home. Let his mum see his head." They assured her they would take him home. She walked away, satisfied she'd done the right thing. Elizabeth McCarrick came closest to saving James's life. Near Walton Lane Police Station, she saw the boys asking for directions. Something felt wrong. She took hold of James's hand, intending to take him to the police herself. For a moment, salvation was literally in reach, but one boy calmly reasserted control. "It's all right. We'll take the boy to the police station." McCarrick, convinced by their reasonable manner, let them go. They walked away from the police station and toward the railway line. Each witness had a story. Each had a reason for not intervening. They thought the boys were brothers. They believed the children were taking James to safety. They trusted in the fundamental goodness of childhood. But they were wrong. On February 14, 1993, Valentine's Day, a group of children playing near the old Walton and Anfield railway line made a discovery that would traumatize them forever. They found the battered body of James Patrick Bulger. The crime scene told a horrific story. James had been tortured and killed using bricks, stones, and an iron bar. Blue modeling paint stolen earlier by the boys was splattered across his body. His injuries were so severe that the pathologist would later describe them as consistent with either a high-speed road traffic accident or a severe beating. But perhaps the most disturbing detail, his body had been placed across the railway tracks in an apparent attempt to disguise the murder as an accident. The plan failed when no train passed before his discovery. Detective Superintendent Albert Kirby of Merseyside Police took charge of what would become one of Britain's most intensive child murder investigations. The evidence was overwhelming and heartbreaking. Blood on footwear matched James's DNA profile with a 1 in a billion certainty. The blue modeling paint found on the body matched paint discovered on both boys' clothing. Pattern analysis showed that facial bruising was consistent with kicks from a specific shoe type worn by one of the perpetrators. Most damning of all, paint traces inside the toe cap of one boy's shoe, indicating the tremendous force used in the attack. The forensic evidence painted a clear picture. This wasn't a single moment of childhood rage. This was sustained, deliberate brutality that lasted for hours. The case that seemed impossible to solve was cracked by technology that was revolutionary for 1993, enhanced CCTV footage. Police released the grainy images of James being led from the shopping centre. The photographs were broadcast on national television and published in every newspaper. The public response was immediate and massive. One caller recognized the distinctive jacket worn by one of the boys. Another identified the walking style. Within days, investigators had names: Robert Thompson, born August 23, 1982, John Venables, born August 13, 1982. Both boys were 10 years old, making them the youngest defendants in a murder case in modern British history. When police arrived at their homes on February 18, 1993, they found two very different children. Thompson was described as cocky and defiant. Venables broke down immediately, hysterical at the prospect of prison. What they discovered during interrogation would divide public opinion for decades to come. The interview room recordings revealed two children struggling with the magnitude of what they'd done.
This interview is being tape recorded. I'm Detective Sergeant Roberts. Now, what's your full name?
Robert Thompson.
What do they call you? Robert or Bobby?
Robert.
I think Bobby's a more friendly name. Do you agree?
Yeah.
I just want to know a little bit about you now, okay? What's your hobby then?
Skipping school.
Skipping school, is that right?
That's not a hobby, that's a profession, Bobby, when you do it as well as you.
Bobby, I came round to your house this morning, didn't I?
Yeah.
What did I say to you?
No listening.
Correct. What for?
James.
James, what about James?
That you said no suspicion of murder on him.
Well, very well remembered. Did you ever see him in the Strand? You shook your head again.
Yeah.
Bobby, was that on the day that we're talking about? Was that on this Friday? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were going up the escalators. They were coming through the doors that there's loads of.
Who was he with?
No.
Little James.
His mum.
With his mum. He was just running around, was he, James?
Yeah.
Will you tell me exactly slowly, right?
Just said come here. And then he grabbed his hand and walked up the stand.
How did he come up to John?
How did he come up to John?
James.
No, he was walking around the strand.
Who was? James?
The baby.
Was he?
I told him to take him back.
You did what?
Told him to take him back.
You told him to take it back?
All right, Bobby.
The interview continued with Robert gradually admitting more details but always trying to blame John for the violence. John Venables initially denied everything. When confronted with CCTV evidence, he became hysterical.
And he said that you took him by the hand and led him out of the Strand shops.
He never. He's a liar.
Calm down, my son. Oh, no, don't get
Alright, come on.
The tape had to be stopped while his solicitor calmed him down after his mother reassured him she would still love him. Venables began to confess, but always blaming Thompson for the worst violence.
So we walked up to him and we were walking around with him and I took his hand.
Well, whose idea was it to walk towards him?
Mine.
Was it?
Then it was Robert's idea to kill him.
A short while ago, as is detailed on your custody record out there, you had a conversation with your mum and you then requested that myself come into the room. Is that right? Yeah. And what was it you told us?
That I killed James. And we went outside to the canal.
What for?
Don't know, he said let's throw him in the water. He was persuading him, he said kneel down and let's look at the water and all that, but he wouldn't. Because when we wouldn't get him down, Robert picked him up and threw him on the floor and that's where he got his bump on his head.
We certainly admitted throwing stones and things like that.
But he's blaming you for a lot of things.
Yeah, but why
You
is he
understand?
blaming me?
Well, I want to know the truth, right? The whole truth. There's other things going on, isn't there?
I'm gonna end up getting all the blame because I've got blood on me.
We're asking you, son, and we want you to tell us the truth, that's all. Not give the blame to you or anything else.
Can we just go through slowly, right? What John did with what, right? You said he got hit with a brick first, did he? Then, what did he do?
Another bit.
He threw another brick.
What was Robert saying while he was doing all this?
We seem to stay down, stupid taking down all that.
Why did he want him to stay down?
I don't know. Wanted him dead, probably.
Where did the stones and the bar hit him?
In the head.
And you say the bar knocked him out?
Yeah. Onto the railway track.
And what happened then?
No, he was just lying there. Just finished now because I can't speak anymore.
More than 20 hours of tape were recorded, capturing confessions, denials, and heartbreaking breakdowns. Each boy painted himself as the victim of the other's influence. Each claimed the other was the real killer. The tapes reveal something disturbing about childhood psychology. Even at 10 years old, both boys understood enough about their crime to lie, to deflect blame, and to minimize their involvement. But the evidence didn't lie. November 1993, Preston Crown Court. Two 10-year-old boys sat in the dock on raised chairs so they could see over the edge. They were flanked by social workers facing a jury of 9 men and 3 women who would decide their fate. The trial was unprecedented. Never before had children so young been tried for murder in an adult court. The proceedings were not broadcast live at that time, but still the case turned into a national obsession. The prosecution, led by Richard Henriquez, Queen's Counsel, methodically presented the evidence, including the CCTV footage, the witness testimony, the forensic evidence, and most damaging of all, the boys' own confessions. The defense teams faced an impossible task. David Turner, Queen's Counsel representing Thompson, argued his client was present but not the aggressor. He painted Thompson as passive, claiming Venables was the violent one. Lawrence Lee, Queen's Counsel representing Venables, argued the opposite, claiming Thompson was the ringleader and Venables was merely following along. Each lawyer blamed the other boy, mirroring exactly what the defendants had done in their police interviews. Dr. Eileen Vizard, a consultant psychiatrist, testified that both boys understood the difference between right and wrong. This destroyed any hope of a diminished responsibility defense. The evidence was overwhelming, and the jury deliberated for just over 6 hours. On November 24, 1993, both Robert Thompson and John Venables were found guilty of the abduction and murder of James Patrick Bulger. Judge Mr. Justice Morland declared the killing of James Bulger was an act of unparalleled evil and barbarity, and both boys were sentenced to detention at Her Majesty's pleasure, effectively a life sentence for children. They became the youngest convicted murderers in modern British history. But the legal battle was far from over when the question became, how long should 10-year-old murderers serve in prison? Judge Morland recommended 8 years as the minimum term. The Lord Chief Justice increased it to 10 years, but then Home Secretary Michael Howard made a decision that would change British justice forever. Bowing to public pressure and a petition signed by 280,000 people, Howard increased the minimum term to 15 years, citing the public concern over the case and the need for public confidence in the criminal justice system. The boys' lawyers immediately appealed, and in 1997, the House of Lords delivered a landmark ruling that would reshape how Britain handles juvenile justice. The Law Lords declared that politicians could not set prison tariffs for children based on public opinion. The European Court of Human Rights went further in 1999, ruling that trying 10-year-old children in adult Crown Court proceedings violated their right to a fair trial. The intimidating atmosphere, they found, prevented the boys from participating effectively in their defense. In June 2001, after serving 8 years, both Thompson and Venables were released on life license with new identities when they were 18 years old. Dame Elizabeth Butler Sloss granted them unprecedented lifelong anonymity orders. Their new names, addresses and appearances could never be published, and anyone breaching the order faced contempt of court charges. The decision enraged the Bulger family and much of the public, raising the question of why child killers should be protected by the very justice system their victim never got to experience. But legal experts argued the order was necessary because without anonymity, both young men faced vigilante justice and possible murder. They had, the courts reasoned, served their sentences and deserved a chance at rehabilitation. The anonymity orders remain in force today, and in 2019 they were updated to cover social media, making it illegal to post photographs or identifying information online. Dozens of people have been prosecuted for breaching the orders, and the protection is absolute and permanent. Robert Thompson vanished into his new life, and since his release in 2001, he has never reoffended. He successfully integrated into society, found work, and by all accounts became a productive citizen. John Venables took a different path. In 2010, just 9 years after his release, Venables was recalled to prison for possessing indecent images of children. He was convicted and sentenced to 2 years. Released again in 2013, he was back in custody by 2017, again for child abuse images, and this time police also found a paedophile manual detailing how to abuse children. The Bulger family has never stopped fighting for answers. Denise Fergus, James's mother, has spent 30 years campaigning for victims' rights and proper justice, while Ralph Bulger, James's father, has taken a different approach, focusing on child protection and supporting other bereaved families. Both parents have shown remarkable dignity in the face of unimaginable loss. But questions persist. Should children who kill be treated differently from adult murderers? Can rehabilitation work for the most serious juvenile offenders? Both Thompson and Venables came from troubled backgrounds. Thompson was the 5th of 7 children in a chaotic household. His father abandoned the family. His mother struggled with alcohol. Several of his brothers had criminal records. Venables lived with his parents and siblings, but the family was marked by domestic violence and instability. He had behavioral problems at school and was known for cruelty to younger children. Many people said that millions of children face similar challenges without becoming killers. What made Thompson and Venables different? James Patrick Bulger never got to start school, never learned to read, never played football, never had friends, never grew up. He existed for just 2 years, 10 months, and 27 days. His death robbed the world of whatever he might have become. 32 years later, Britain remains divided. Some believe the justice system worked. 2 child killers were punished, 1 was successfully rehabilitated, and society was protected. Others see a failure of justice, a murdered child released killers, and a system that prioritizes criminals over victims. Both perspectives contain truth because justice is imperfect, because humans are imperfect. Our condolences to James Patrick Bulger and his family. Comment below the video. If this story was helpful, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share with those who need to know.